When I was a small child, I remember being quite confident. To me, every person on the street was interesting and in my eyes good-hearted. I loved talking to everybody. I loved being seen. I even loved climbing on an empty stage in a park once and just wholeheartedly sing children's songs to an elderly couple that just happened to sit there. As I grew a bit older, my confidence slowly began to diminish. Children started commenting on my body and made me feel insecure about it. I was also getting more nervous when singing in front of people, but I still love it to this day. Although my confidence began to crumble a bit during teenagehood, I always felt confident about the path I wanted to take. I had no doubts about it, which was such a good feeling to have. The moment I entered high school, I knew I wanted to go study at an art school afterwards, and this gave me quite some confidence to hold on to. And it is also exactly what I did when I finished school. Very grateful for being selected, I packed my bags and went to the Netherlands to study at the art academy. I had so much fun during these 4 years, but it was also at this time that I lost sight of my clear path. There were so many interesting practices to explore within the field of arts. I suddenly felt lost and I did not know which path to choose when I graduated. Okay, fast forward to now. I finally have it back. I finally have a clear goal and vision again of where I want to go as an artist, as a painter, a filmmaker, and as a person in general. It took me about 8 years to get there. The only thing that has not come back by then was my confidence. So why is confidence so important anyway? I just very recently understood this actually, and I think it can be explained in one simple sentence. The feeling of confidence has a huge impact on all parts of our life. And that is exactly why it is so vital and why I believe that it is well worth the time that we spend on increasing it. It impacts everything. It impacts how I feel about myself, how I feel in my body, how I act as a mother, as a friend, as an entrepreneur, as an artist, as a stranger. It impacts the emotions that I feel. It impacts my mindset in such a huge way. It affects my level of anxiety and stress, and this then has an impact on my health and well-being. I don't know, it was mind-blowing to me when I recently realized this. All kinds of problems and issues that I have actually lead back to one and the same thing, which is the lack of confidence. So I decided to do something about it. Let's dive into the 5 things that I now do to increase my confidence. Many of them I do on a daily basis right now. The first thing is listening to affirmations. Hear me out on it, especially if you feel resistance to it. I think affirmations are great to begin with when you want your confidence to increase. You can listen to positive affirmations in the form of meditations, but you can also listen to motivational podcasts and interviews that contain positive affirmative speeches that increase your feeling of self-worth and confidence. Let me tell you real quick why I'm a huge fan of affirmations. This might change your mind when you feel hesitant about it. I have 2 kids now, and the first time that I gave birth was rather traumatic. It took me 28 hours, I was in a lot of pain, and I ended up giving birth to my first son in the hospital. When I was pregnant with my second son, I was terrified of having to give birth again. I wanted to be in the hospital as quickly as possible. so I could get heavy pain medication as quickly as possible. And I was just truly afraid. And then a dear friend of mine told me about hypnobirthing, which included affirmation meditation amongst other practices, and it changed everything. I listened to those affirmations on a positive birth experience for the last 3 months of my pregnancy, and when I began listening to it, I did not believe at all what I heard in that meditation. But I wanted to, and I had nothing to lose. So I kept listening to it every day, and after a while, the beliefs I had about myself shifted. They shifted dramatically. At the end of my pregnancy, I felt so confident and convinced that I'm totally made for giving birth, that it's the most natural thing, that it does not have to be very painful nor stressful. And I gave birth to my second son at home, in a bath, in only 3 hours. This gives me chills to this day. That's why I'm convinced now that it is possible to change every belief about yourself with positive affirmations. I can only highly recommend you give it a try. I will link a few related videos and channels in the description of this video that could help you as they helped me. I'm currently listening to one of those daily. First thing in the morning, when I wake up, I put my earphone in and I just press play. My second tip to increase your confidence is putting on clothes and jewelry that makes you feel confident. Now, this is one that I still have to improve, because as someone who mainly works at home, it is so convenient to just quickly put on the comfy pants, forget about the jewelry and just get to work. But I realize that the way I dress has a big impact on how confident and how pretty I feel. And even more, when I dress in a way that I'm really happy about, I'm much more likely to grab the camera and record new video material, which then gets me closer to my YouTube goal more quickly. So this is something we should not underestimate, I think. The third thing that helps is to stay in the game. What do I mean by that? It is a method I created for myself to prevent myself from overwhelm and still keep working towards my goals. So you probably have certain goals in your life, personal goals as well as career-related goals. Take a moment to write them down and decide on which goals are most important to you. If your goal seems really far away, think of what you would need to achieve this year to get closer to this goal. And then, what would you need to achieve in a month to get closer to the yearly goal? And then, what achievement would be needed in a week to get closer to the monthly goal? What we want to crystallize here is the daily action or actions that you can take to get closer to your desired goal. For example, I'd love my YouTube channel to get monetized so I can support my family and my art business. I think I need to create one long format video every week to reach that monetization goal. In order to create a long format video every week, I need to take one step daily that gets me closer to realizing a new video. This action step can be filming, it can be script writing, idea research, it can be recording a voiceover. There are a lot of possible steps and I need to take at least one daily. And with that, I affirm to myself that I'm consciously working on my goal and that I will get there. When you don't take a daily step towards your goal and there are more and more days that you don't act on your desire, doubt creeps in and confidence starts to sink significantly. At least that's how I experienced it. I'm also a painter and I want to be successful at creating and selling art as well. In the past, I often used to throw myself into projects fully, And then I would only work on videos for a whole week, or I would only work on a new collection of paintings for 3 months. And then there were always parts that suffered. When I was busy with my paintings for too long, I would doubt myself more and more whether I'm actually good at making videos. And if I would focus on creating videos for too long, I would feel as if I forgot everything I need to know about my art practice. So that's why I decided it has to be at least 1 step daily for all my important goals. And 1 step is enough. At least 1 brush stroke, at least 1 sentence in my script, or recording 1 scene to stay in the game and keep my confidence. Tip number 4 is to work out and take care of your body on a daily basis. One of my priorities is to stay fit and healthy as long as possible. This also has a huge effect on my confidence. Every time I get sick, my confidence drops. When I'm sick, I have less energy, it is harder to take my daily steps on all the goals. I don't feel like dressing my best, I feel weakened. And when I feel weak physically, it automatically affects how I feel mentally. It also works the other way around, by the way. That's why I believe that meditation and affirmations can be such a game changer. When I feel weak mentally, it has an effect on how my body feels, and I get sick sometimes because of mental issues and stress. There's such an enormous ripple effect to all of it, which can be a bad thing, but we can also use this to our advantage. So if I feel weak or sick physically, and I might even have to stay in bed, I will increasingly consume meditations and work on my mental state, which then heals my body. And when I feel weak mentally, doing more yoga and more workouts will not only make me feel stronger in my body, but mentally as well. The last tip I want to leave you with is to be careful about the way and the amount that you consume social media, as this can have a significant effect on your confidence. I discussed that topic in detail in this video that should appear on your screen right now. See you there, my friend.